Good morning, StreamYard and YouTube fans. And before I uh, get into the 3-5 matchups today that I will be playing, I figured I'd do a little recap of the 4-5 matchups. Uh, they were all but one game was very, very close. I had one blowout, and that was uh, the game three, and then the other ones were really, really close. Uh, we had Real Salt Lake versus Vancouver to start things off, and I mean, yeah, that's right, Real Salt Lake, and in in the first half there was no score at all, um, and then things went back and forth. Um, in the 50th minute, Real Salt Lake went on top, 1-0. Vancouver came back, tied things up 1-1 in the 59th minute. And then just in the very closing minutes of the regulation, uh, Vancouver went ahead 2-1. And that was the end of the very first game. Uh, and then Philadelphia played New England, and uh, Philadelphia took. I mean, well, actually, at the end of the first, this game was tied 1-1. So another tie situation, really close. Philadelphia started off in the 23rd minute. They got a goal, and then New England, just like that, second half of that other game, came back right away on the next possession and tied things up, and that's where we were at halftime. And then there wasn't another score in this game, and a final score at that. Philadelphia scored in the 83rd minute of the game, and that's Philly wins that one 2-1. So two games at 2-1, very close. This third game was game two between New England and Philadelphia, and this game was very close for the first 38 minutes of play. Uh, you got in the 20th minute, Philadelphia scored a goal. In the 38th minute, New England came back, and then after that, this game was all Philly. Uh, in the 41st minute, uh, in the 41st minute, off of a free kick, uh, Philadelphia scored, put it up 2-1, and then in the first extra minute, or the extra minute of regulation of the first half, they kicked it up a notch, went 3-1. Uh, two more goals were scored in this one in the 63rd minute and one in the 85th minute. Both of those were by Philadelphia. And what can I say? Like I said, this was the one game which was a blowout, and Philly wins this 4-5 matchup 2-0. Then we go to game 2 between Vancouver and Real Salt Lake, and this one went really quick. The first half went really quick. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rolls, and the first half was done, and there was no score. And second half was very, very quick as well. Uh, Vancouver got a goal in the 75th minute. It was a free kick, and that free kick led to a keeper check, and they scored a goal. They were up 1-0. And then in the second minute of extra time, uh, off of a defensive uh, play, uh, Vancouver got a keeper check that led to a goal, and they went up 2-0, and they won this game in 2 games. So far, both series were over in 2 games and done so far. Um, thing is will that trend continue or not? Uh, Still to be seen. Your your next matchups and the first game of the day will be Columbus, and they will be playing Kansas City. And Columbus only has one goalkeeper, and he is an 8. Uh, Kansas City, their goalkeepers are Tim Malia, he's a 4, and Pulskamp, he is a 6. Um, so I mean, that the first keeper for Kansas City is kind of on the low side, but Pulskamp is somewhat comparable to Broom, so that's good. Uh, Composure goes to Columbus. They have 1. I know I really don't use it a lot, but it does come up on occasion. And uh, at home, Columbus will have +3 to control, and that means that 1-13 they'll be on the attack. 14-20 they'll be Kansas City will be on the attack. And in the when they're away, when they play in at Kansas City will be -1, which means they'll have the ball 1-9, and 10-20 when the Columbus will have it. And that is the 3-6 matchup for the East. In the West, we have Houston. Houston, and they'll be playing Dallas. And oh wow, and this is the first time I'm looking at this, but Houston has a keeper that is the lowest I've seen. Um, Steve Clark is their normal goalie. He is an 8. That's good, but they have their secondary keeper is Michael Nielsen, and he is a keeper of 1. And basically for him to save a on a keeper check, you will need to get the 81 to 89. I mean, the 81 to 99 range, where it's any keeper makes it. So that's going to be rough if he is in the goal for Houston. Dallas, they have Martin Paes, he's a 9, and Jimmy Marr, he is an 8. So either one of those will match up with Houston's main goalie. Let's see, Houston will have +3 on their as far as attack goes, which means 1 to 13, and then 14 to 20 for Dallas. When Houston is away, Dallas will have a +5. So yeah, when Houston's at home, it's even. I'm sorry. I, yeah, I sorry. It's even. When they're playing at home, it's even. So that's 1 to 10, 11 to 20. When they're away, Dallas will have a a difference of 5. So that will be uh, 1 to 14 for Dallas and 15 to 20 for Houston. Um, but I think if Houston has their main goalie in this matchup, they'll be able to compete. But if that Nielsen, who is a 1 keeper, is in, I don't see Houston lasting very long. This is if Houston has their main goalie, they can compete. If not, it'll probably be over quick. Um, so, and the other thing with regards to this the MLS Cup that's going on is, will FC Cincinnati get a chance to play Columbus? That will be something that is very, very interesting. But those are my takes on the round 3-6 matchup. And then we'll go to the 2-7 matchups after this, and that's Cincinnati versus Nashville, and that be LAFC versus oh, I'm sorry, I have the wrong team here for see, it's good to look at these things. I have the wrong team here because Columbus is not playing Kansas City because Kansas City's in the West. Columbus is playing Atlanta. Big difference. So Los Angeles is playing Kansas City. So let us retake the Columbus matchup. But with regards to the Houston Dallas matchup, what I think is, if Houston has their first goalie, they'll be able to compete. If not, it'll be over real quick. Let's see. With Columbus and Atlanta, Columbus has a +3 at home, so that's good. And Atlanta's goalkeepers are Brad Guzan, he's a 6, and Rocco Riso Novo, he's a 4. So they'll be Atlanta will be better off with their first goalkeeper, but they'll be able to compete with that 4 keeper. Uh, and when they're away, Atlanta, it'll be even. So that's 1 to 10 for Atlanta and 11 to 20 for Columbus. So if Atlanta has their goalkeeper, they'll be able to keep. With the secondary, Atlanta will be able to keep in touch, but it it might not go very well for them. Uh, and it will be interesting to see if Columbus and Cincinnati can wind up playing each other in this MLS Cup. Looking forward to that. But the first matchup today will be Columbus versus Atlanta. Columbus versus Atlanta, followed up by the Houston versus Dallas matchup. Uh, Last year's champion, and I had to look at the cards, and that last year's champion was Toronto. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll play a one game kind of a best of the best uh, type game where it's the 2022 champs versus the 2021 champs, and that will be played also at a neutral site. After I finish this MLS Cup, I will be doing the history history maker baseball project, and that's the quest for 61. Uh, it will have myself, John Wise, Dwayne Martz, and Derek Jeter, along with the other Yankees, especially Maris and Mantle. So that will be really nice to see. Uh, and the thing about it is you'll have 6 out of the 8 players that are pretty much meant to be your home run hitters. And the key question is which one of us will get to 61 first, or better yet, will any of us get to 61? Uh, because the big thing with History Maker Baseball is the fact that uh, what will come into play there is the idea of until further notice. Will the until further notice uh, pregame ritual stuff prevent us from getting 61 home runs? And it very well could. Uh, but that's we'll see, and that's probably going to take me a long time because you're talking. I'm going to do the whole season, and that's over 100 plus games, so that will be a long, long project. Uh, but I just want to give you a quick recap and a preview of things to come with regards to this MLS playoffs. Only really one blowout so far, and a lot of the games were either no score at halftime or tied at halftime. And will that trend continue? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I just figured I'd give you a recap and a preview of things to come. So we will get to that later today, and you guys have a good one.